Hello, welcome to day 15 of our Diary of a Multifaceted Mama. Goes so far as to say Diary of a Multifaceted Human, because yes, I am mom. I'm also human, and you're human too, whether you're a mom or not. So, I have not been doing this vlog every day like I was in the beginning. I've been doing it so I want to say that I've been doing it as I feel called to do it, and that's only partially true. So I'm going to hold myself accountable here. I have been doing it at the times when I feel called to do it for the most part, but I also have not been doing it because I have just chosen at any given moment, whenever that moment might be, not to prioritize it. And I have been thinking this morning about, Tony, what do you want to prioritize right now and why? And that train of thought got going because I was recognizing, I'm like, wow, I haven't been doing the vlog every day like I was in the beginning. And I thought I'd be doing it more often than I am now. I did it 3 times this week. Yeah, today's Saturday, so this is the 3rd time. And I did not create this vlog series in order to guilt myself into doing anything. So I don't want to force myself to do it out of guilt. I also don't want to not do it out of a lack of prioritizing if I want to prioritize it more, right? So this whole kind of conversation that I was having with myself got me to thinking, okay, where are there other parts of my life where I notice that I do this? And I have noticed that there's, another part in particular of my life where I have been doing that as well. And it's not because that part of my life doesn't matter to me. It's not because I don't think it's a priority. It is because I've chosen to prioritize other things. My health, my home, my family, my kids, things like that. And the other part of my life where I notice that I have a tendency to do that is in my second business, which is I used to call my coaching business, but I don't call it that anymore because it's much more than that. And that has brought me to the realization that like the way in which I have been framing that second business could use some updating. Because the reality is I already have a thriving first business as a psychotherapist, which I love, with amazing people that I get to work with, that it's work that fills my heart. So this second business, it has served me in so many different ways. When I first started with it, it brought me back into the importance of my faith, and it led me to re-explore how I was really showing up for myself and allowing myself to be connected in a meaningful way to my source, to my God, to the universe at large. And I didn't realize I needed that, but I did. And that actually helped me to make some really important shifts in my marriage and within myself first, and then within my marriage, which were life-changing for all of us, for my whole family. And so it served me well in those initial stages in that way, because it brought me on that self journey that included a deepening of my spiritual self. And it's continued to help me refine who I really want to be in this world, how I really want to be in this world, and to challenge myself whether I'm really showing up in that way. And so over the years, I mean, I've done some awesome things, right? So I've published a couple of books, I've done some amazing things and met some amazing people. But the reality is that at this point, this season of my life, the second business isn't meant to be just some coaching business. And I've known that for a little while, but I haven't had the words to put to that. It's meant to be really a movement. And the reason I say that is because I do adore my psychotherapy business, and it is doing well, and it operates seamlessly. And I'm really proud of what I've created there for myself, for my clients, and the streamlined processes so that it lines up really nicely. And I haven't come to that place in my second business where it feels like that flow as consistently as I would like. And this is why. Because I've been having these different experiences in that business to help me refine and redefine what I really want it to be, which is a reflection of what I want to create in this world outside of the psychotherapy office. And this is something that I've been sitting with this for quite a while now, different aspects of it. So it's becoming more and more and more clear as I've been allowing myself to kind of explore it. But when I was sitting down this morning, actually before I even sat down this morning, I think I was in the shower. The question that came up for me was, Tony, what exactly is it that you want to create in this world? And I would, challenge you to pose that question to yourself as well. It's not one that you just ask once, right? This is a question that you ask yourself and re-ask yourself and re-ask yourself and re-ask yourself and re-ask and re-ask, because it gets refined. Your answer gets refined over time as you have different life experiences, as you interact with different people, as you get to know yourself more and more and more, right? And so I'm glad that question came back up, because it really helped me add some more clarity and perspective to this thing that I've been sitting with around my second business. Not it's beyond just a business, right? I mean, legally speaking, it's business, right? But I'm talking about the meaning behind it. So I spent basically all of my educational career exploring psychology and human behavior. And I love it. I always have. I've been fascinated by the human mind and human behavior and relationships. And then I spent my doctoral education exploring human sexuality. And the reason for that is because, to me, human sexuality is about the lived experience of us as human beings, because we are sexual beings. There's no getting around that. We are sexual, social, sensual beings. And so human sexuality isn't just about sexual intercourse. It's so much more. It's about our sensory experience in this world within ourselves and with others, right? So our touch, feel, taste, all of that, right? And the way that we experience that, and the meaning behind that, and our identities, all of that is embraced by human sexuality. All of that is within the study, the subject, the area of human sexuality. So to me, human sexuality and psychology are connected. Like, they significantly overlap. And so I can't separate one from the other, which is why I chose to get my doctorate in human sexuality. And I studied the lived experience of teen moms as my dissertation. And that might be for another conversation, because it's just There's so much there. There's so much richness there to explore that's meaningful to us as human beings. Our lived experience matters, but our lived experience is affected by the intersection of so many different pieces. And so, as I said, when I began my entrepreneurial career, in particular, the second business, as I was beginning that, I really got brought back into exploring my spiritual, my faith-based self and what that means to me. And so here I have these three really important, vital aspects of the human life experience, right? So we've got psychology and sexuality, which I put together. We've got spirituality, right? And we've also got this part of our lives, of ourselves, that I label like the socio-cultural, right? So this is the isms that we place on people. It is the, hi honey, it is the racism, it is the ageism, it is the sexism, right? It's the socio-cultural, it is the political pieces of our society. So this is the social part. And our sense of self is impacted by the spiritual part of us, as well as this socio-cultural political part of us. They're all impacted, right? So if we were to just have three lines, we have the spiritual line, we have the psychology, sexuality line, and then we have the socio-cultural or political line, right? And in the middle, they all intersect. They all impact one another. And if we can understand how each of these lines matters, and also each of these lines intersects with one another and affects one another, then we are more equipped to be able to figure out how we can live and lead and love a meaningfully successful and satisfying life while feeling safe being ourselves within each of those aspects, right? That right there is what I want my work, my movement to reflect in the world. How can we better understand that dynamic that I just shared about when we're operating as mom, as dad, as business owner, as citizen, as psychotherapist, as whatever professional you are, as mentor, as consultant, as author, as all of these different pieces of me, these different roles I fulfill, these different identities I connect with. How do these three lines and the intersection of them impact me and my identities and my roles? How do I want them to impact me and my identities and my roles? And the more awareness we have around that, the more we can do about that, so that we can experience more meaning that feels good, that helps us feel successful in these different areas of our lives. And so really exploring each of those has been my life's work. And that is where I want this movement to continue to get clear on sharing about in a way that is relevant and helpful to the variety of individuals that are out there. Let's say hi, honey. Hi. This is a video. Good morning. I love you. So I went off of our structure today, which is totally okay, right? It's great to have a structure to help us to get and be organized in life. And then also we had to be willing to adjust the structure and to get flexible when the time calls for it. And so within everything I just shared, I could absolutely extract, the areas that have been challenging for me, the areas that I've grown and what's good and what I'm grateful for. I could extract that from all of this. But I think that this conversation is powerful enough, right? Like this reflection is powerful enough, and I'm going to continue to dive into it. And as I do that, I'm going to continue to share about it because it's really meaningful to me, and I believe it's really meaningful for the world to hear. And so I would challenge you, to ask yourself, if you're receptive to that, if you're following along this vlog series, what exactly do you want to create in this world and why? Right? So if you have your own personal movement that you want to be reflected by you, maybe it's through the work that you do or through the parenting that you do or whatever the case is for you, like what is that and why? Right here, right now, what is that and why? That may shift over the years as you experience different seasons in life, and that's okay. You'll have experiences that help you get refined and redefine, and that's okay. That's actually really good. It means you're evolving and growing. And so, what is that for you? And I'm going to keep asking myself that question. I'm going to keep re-asking myself that question so I can continue to get more and more clear on it. This is so, so, so important to me. And as I show up more and more and more in different areas of the internet and the media and things like that, it's going to be even more important, right? For me to be able to clearly explain all of these pieces, right? And so as you show up more and more in your different parts of your life, as you feel more and more safe to be more and more visible in the way that you want to be visible, whether it's at work, it's at home, in your marriage, in your parenting, and whatever kind of relationships, are important to you, like you're going to want to be able to be more and more clear so you can be more and more anchored into really, what really do I want to create in this world and why? If I had my own personal mission, my own personal movement within myself, whether or not I ever share it with anyone ever, what is that and why? All right, y'all. Till next time. Thanks for hanging with me.